there's an article you wrote called Breaking Through the Recognition Deficit. And you cite the study that's fascinating that found 88% of employees feel unrecognized by their coworkers, and 82% think their supervisors do not recognize what they do for them. Why do you think there's such a recognition deficit going on?
I just think it's a problem with toxic leadership. I think people don't really value people the way how they need to be valued, let them know that they're appreciated. There's two reasons why people leave companies. One is they don't get along with their boss, and two is they don't feel appreciated. And those go hand in hand together. And it's one of the reasons why I really think that you need to develop coaches. That's why I recently wrote this book called Take Charge of You, How Self-Coaching Can Transform Your Life and Career. I think you want to become a coach, not a boss, and then you want to make sure that you appreciate the people that work with you. And that's where I think purposeful recognition comes into play, George. When you take the time to really recognize people when it's well-deserved and well-earned, around the principles that are going to drive great performance in your company, guess what happens? People will want to do more of it, and they're going to feel appreciated, and they're going to want to stay in your company. Because as the research will tell you, not many people are really doing it well.
Yeah. Do you think that part of that is a generational gap? Do you feel like Gen Z and millennials have different values than maybe the older generations?
Now, I think people have craved recognition throughout time. I just think it's an innate thing that's out there. But, people oftentimes don't recognize other people, but for, a couple of reasons. One is they're afraid that if they recognize one person, another person will be upset. Well, I always tell everybody that's crazy, because, that would only make a difference, be a problem if you only planned on recognizing one person in your life. The other thing is, believe it or not, people think when you recognize people, they might not work as hard. They might take the pedal off the metal. And that's not true. What I've found is when you recognize people, it ignites their performance and they want to do even better. But those are just a couple of reasons why people don't recognize. And I think another big reason is that people get so occupied, so preoccupied with what they're doing, their world, that they're not externally focused enough to look around and to really celebrate all the actions that are being taken to help them get to where they need to go. Leaders get so intense and so driven about what they want to have to get done that oftentimes they forget that you really can't do anything big alone. You've got to do it with people.
So where did this shift come from for you? Was there this moment where you realized the power of recognition?
Well, I think my mom and dad always recognized me when I was coming up, and that was great. So it's kind of was in my DNA to a certain extent. And I always recognized people at work, but when I became chief operating officer for the Pepsi Cola company, I went out and I would go to the bottling plants, and I would sit down and have roundtables with people on the front line, and I'd ask them what's working, what's not working. So, one time I go to St. Louis and I'm meeting with a group of route salesmen at Pepsi. Now at Pepsi, route salesmen are the number one leader. I mean, they are out there talking to customers and, making sure you get displays and the product looks just perfect. So I'm asking people what's working and what could be better and all those kinds of things. And everybody starts raving about this guy named Bob. And, you're saying, Bob is the best merchandiser that you've ever seen. I mean, I learned more in 4 hours than I learned my first 3 years here. This guy's amazing. Everybody started raving about how great this guy is, how fantastic he was. And I looked straight across the table, just like I'm looking at you right here, George. And the guy's crying.
Wow.
And I said, Bob, why are you crying? He said, well, I've been in this company for 47 years. I'm retiring in 2 weeks, and I didn't know that people felt this way about me. And that just hit me in the gut. And I said to myself, from that point on, I'm going to make recognition the number one behavior I'm going to drive in any culture on any team that I have the privilege of leading. And sure enough, shortly after that, I became president of KFC. And that's when I really started doing, the recognition that I think ignited all kinds of great results and really helped me achieve the kinds of things that you could only dream of achieving. But I couldn't have done it by myself. I had to get everybody excited about being a part of the mission. And I used recognition as the real catalyst for doing that. And, I think that that's the secret weapon that I think leaders have that they just don't realize and they just don't take advantage of it. Even if it's just saying thank you to people when you see them do a good job. Now, I took it to a whole different level. I had personal recognition awards and always had a lot of fun doing it. And then everybody in our company developed their own personal recognition awards. And everybody started recognizing people for the performance that we knew that would drive great results, and it really became contagious. And I genuinely believe that's why we had such great results. When you do the right things for people, the right things always happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do a lot of that here at Ramsey because we've realized the power of that. So we have a lot of award ceremonies, and we love celebrating people's wins and their performance and their growth and promotions, all of that stuff. And I have not seen a spirit of, envy and anger of why did that guy get recognized? I think people love to see others get recognized.
I think even more so today with this generation. I think people love to see their teammates get recognized. What they don't like is someone that's trying to just be overly competitive and distinguish themselves. And, what I've never found, I've always found that people love the recognition. We had a roving recognition band at our company, and they'd go around and say, "We are here to appreciate you," and it's
like a singing telegram.
It was amazing, and I had nothing to do with it. It just was developed by the people in our company because they knew recognition was what would make our place really special, and it did. I mean, I spoke at the Yum Brand's 25th anniversary a couple of months ago. I came in as the past founder of the company, and everybody came up to me and said, "David, the thing that makes our company great, and we've kept it going since you left, and I moved on 6 years ago, is the recognition. We still have fun recognizing people, and it was fun to me. I gave away my recognition award when I was there to the CEO, David Gibbs of Yum. It's just walk the talk teeth, and I write on him and personalize it and tell why he deserves the recognition, and people love it. And it's not expensive to do. All it takes is just a little bit of time to do, but it means so much to people.